everyone. Today I've got a Oscars 2016 nominees versus winners video, and I had been putting a ballot together when the show aired on Sunday, so I was sort of trying to guess who my winners were going to be, and they slightly changed when I last did a Oscars podcast, and I feel like now that I've seen all of the Best Picture nominees, I put together, I had my final decisions chosen. Without any further ado, the first category I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is the Best Original Screenplay category, and the nominees are Bridge of Spies, Ex Machina, Inside Out, Spotlight, and Straight Outta Compton. And my pick was for Inside Out. I really loved this movie, and I really thought that they put a lot of effort into figuring out what really goes on inside the mind and sort of putting its own spin on it and having this creative way of telling the story. And of course, I loved Inside Out. I've seen all of these movies, but the winner is Spotlight. Now, this is actually a really surprising win. I did love the writing because also there was some research going on in this movie because of the whole context of the storyline with everything that was going on with the situation at the church and the sexual abuse scandals. And I feel like they did a good job at this too. So I'm really happy that this won. I feel like they all did a pretty good job, and I feel like this one was a really well-deserved award. So the next category I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is the Best Adapted Screenplay category, and the nominees are The Big Short, Brooklyn, Carol, The Martian, and Room. Now, my choice for this, I was on the fence. I was picking a few choices. I had read the book The Martian, and I really felt like that resonated well with the final product with the movie, and I kind of figured, well, maybe that isn't going to win, so I picked Room. I did not read that book that this movie was based off of, but I feel like, maybe they would have picked it, so it was kind of just an educated guess. But the winner is The Big Short. And I'm actually really happy about this. This was probably my number 3 choice. I was kind of in between Room and The Big Short. And I was thinking, well, they did talk about things that really happened. And, this movie did have that comedy that I feel like I would see in a book. And I feel like, a lot of research also went into this movie as well. So I feel like this was a very well-deserved award. Shoot, I should have guessed this one, but I got it wrong, but that's okay. For the next category, it is for Best Visual Effects. And, obviously there are plenty of good movies that have this. And the nominees are Ex Machina, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, of course, everybody would say, well, of course Star Wars could be a good choice to win because there's all those visuals there. But I actually picked The Revenant because, you've got this CGI bear. It all just looked so real. Now, of course, I'm only talking about that one part, and I'm sure there were other parts of this movie that I found just to be visually stunning, and I'm sure that was mostly as far as the cinematography went, but I feel like that whole bear scene, it just looked so realistic, and I was just blown away by it. So my pick was for The Revenant, but the winner is Ex Machina, and I'm actually really glad this one too. I would have picked this one. It's been a while since I've seen Ex Machina, and I'm actually really happy about this because who wouldn't want to see a girl that played by Alicia Vikander, who looks just like this robot? And I felt like even the styling of that look was just, amazing. It was different than any other movie I have seen with robots before, and I felt like, hey, that was a great choice for a win. So I'm really happy about Ex Machina winning. Now I have to go watch that movie right now. But before I do that, I will move on to the next category with sound mixing. And the nominees are Bridge of Spies, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, my pick had to go to Mad Max Fury Road because, you hear all the high octane sounds and just all these different things going on. I loved, obviously, this movie, if you don't have it on Blu-ray, it is one of those things where you just hear every little detail. So it's just the most unreal thing I've ever seen before, and it is just so cool. So that is my pick. And the winner is Mad Max Fury Road! And I could not be happier. And, this movie getting its first win of the night, I felt like it's just really amazing because this movie was my number 2 best movie of 2015, so I couldn't be happier that this won. And the next category is Best Sound Editing, and the nominees are Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Sicario, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. My pick, once again, has to go to Mad Max Fury Road. This movie, like I said, it just blew me away, and I feel like I hadn't heard anything like the way things were in this movie. It still just makes me happy that I saw this, and I can't stop watching it. It is just that good. Because I'm going to be shiny in chrome. And the winner is Mad Max Fury Road. Woo! I am so happy. There's really not much else to say except it got 2 awards so far, 2 Oscars. It's just, it's going to be sweeping the floor, and everybody might just end up going to Valhalla after this. The next category is Best Live Action Short Film, and I unfortunately did not get a chance to see any of these movies, but the nominees are Ave Maria, Day One, Everything Will Be Okay, Shock, and Stutterer. Now, I just had to take a guess. I really didn't know which one, was going to end up winning, so I just, picked out of a hat. I said, let's just do Ave Maria. I don't know. I just picked that. But the winner is Stutterer. Now, this is a movie that I actually kind of want to see. I want to see all of these, and, I didn't really get a chance to see them, but maybe next time, next awards season, by the time that rolls around, I will check those out. So, if you guys have seen it, you guys should let me know if you've seen this movie. The next category is for Best Animated Short Film, and once again, I hadn't seen these, but I know that there was a lot of buzz on maybe 1 or 2 of these films, so I know when I was doing my podcast, me and everyone else I was doing it with sort of came to the conclusion, yes, it was going to go to Sanjay's Super Team, so I ended up picking that. But the winner is Bear Story. And I'm thinking maybe I should have picked that instead, considering, this whole theme with bears and The Revenant. So, maybe it was a sign that it was going to happen, even though they're both totally unrelated. But at least I'm happy about that. The next category is for Best Production Design. Now, this is a category that I really paid attention to, and, I had my picks here and there. So the nominees are Bridge of Spies, The Danish Girl, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, and The Revenant. My pick was for The Martian because who else can make it look like Mars? Like Matt Damon is on Mars, like Ridley Scott could, and find a place that looks, remotely like it, or sort of like that, just a believable place. So I picked The Martian, but the winner is Mad Max Fury Road. And I'm really happy about that too, because now that I think about it, how can we possibly make the world look totally post-apocalyptic and just totally crazy and insane and mad? So I'm really happy that this won, and it's got 3 Oscars now. Woo! And now on to the next category. It is for Best Original Song. And the nominees are Earned It from 50 Shades of Grey by The Weeknd, which I also love, Manta Ray by Racing Extinction, Simple Song Number 3 in Youth, Till It Happens to You from The Hunting Ground, and Writings on the Wall from Spectre by Sam Smith. And my pick, I feel like across the board in other award shows, it was picking Writings on the Wall from Spectre. And I really love that song. I know a lot of people were on the fence about it, or they don't really have this thing for Sam Smith. But I really think it's a very good song. And I feel like maybe the Academy are a bunch of Bond fans. So, of course, I think this is a good choice for a win. Some people might not think it's the best, but that's my pick. And the winner is Writings on the Wall. Okay. Forget you ever heard me sing that. But it is true. Writings on the Wall won for Spectre. And I'm really happy about that. Sam Smith gave a really good acceptance speech. And, I'm really happy about that. So let's move on to the next category. And it is for Best Original Score. Now, even though one of my favorite movies was snubbed for this category, The Revenant, and, I feel like the next best choice for me was for another nominee, but the nominees are Bridge of Spies, Carol, The Hateful Eight, Sicario, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. My pick was The Hateful Eight, and, I just felt like, this also had a really good score in the movie and totally set the tone for everything that was going on. So the winner is The Hateful Eight, and I'm really happy about this. So there's really not much else to say, even though I did give this movie a 4 out of 5, but I still enjoyed it, and I think the music was definitely one of the things that I enjoyed about this movie. For the next category, it is for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Now, I feel like this was kind of a dead giveaway of who I was going to pick, because there's really not many choices to choose from. There's only 3. So the nominees are Mad Max Fury Road, The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared, and I've never heard that movie before, and The Revenant. Now, I would have said The Revenant because, Leo DiCaprio looking just like Hugh Glass, and maybe a little bit more, and just looking unrecognizable, but I feel like that was mostly in the performance. But my pick had to go to Mad Max Fury Road, and the winner is Mad Max Fury Road. And I can't even count. How many Oscars did this movie win so far? This was well deserved because, what would somebody who lives in a post-apocalyptic world look like? And I think the makeup and hairstyling, I mean, you've got a Morton Joe, you've got Charlize Theron's character, Imperator Furiosa, you've got those war boys. I mean, everybody looked totally great. So I'm really happy this movie won because, I mean, you've got a lot of cosplayers out there, and I might just be one of them sporting some Mad Max Fury Road makeup designs. So I'm really happy this won. And for the next category, it is for Best Foreign Language Film. Now, I didn't get a chance to see any of these movies, but the nominees are Embrace of the Serpent, Mustang, Son of Saul, Thebe, and A War. Now, all across the board, a lot of people have been saying that Son of Saul was going to win, so I said, okay, I'll pick this one and hope for the best. So the winner is Son of Saul. So I actually don't know if this movie is any good. Clearly it is if it won an Oscar, and I might just check it out. Have you guys seen Son of Saul? Let me know. The next category is for Best Film Editing, and the nominees are The Big Short, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, Spotlight, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, my pick was for The Big Short because there were just so many interesting cuts here and there in the movie, and it really set the tone and the comedy, and it just really made it hilarious how they all did this. And though I feel like maybe some other movies had that, but I feel like this movie, it just really stood out to me as far as the editing went. So my pick was for The Big Short, but the winner is Mad Max Fury Road! Sorry, I just totally yelled that, but I'm just surprised that this movie is sweeping the Oscar floor with all these awards. It is crazy. It is well deserved. I love this choice, and I think it did good with the editing and everything that was going on in the movie, and just going from like scene to scene and seeing all these different things going on. So there's really not much else I want to say because I am speechless that this movie just keeps winning. For the next category, it is for Best Documentary Short, and I did not get a chance to see any of these movies, so it was kind of a hypothetical guess of what, I was thinking was going to win. But the nominees are Body Team 12, Shao Beyond the Lines, Claude Lanzmann, Spectres of the Shoah, I think that's how you say it, A Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness, and Last Day of Freedom. Now, I picked The Last Day of Freedom. Don't know much about that movie, but maybe I should check it out, as well as some of these other movies that look really interesting. So the winner is A Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness, and I think, this looks like a really interesting film, so I will definitely check it out. If you guys want to see a review of it, let me know. For the next category, it is for Best Documentary Feature, and the nominees are Amy, Cartel Land, The Look of Silence, What Happened, Miss Simone, Winter on Fire, Ukraine's Fight for Freedom. Now, I know I had heard a lot of things about Amy because it's a documentary about the late Amy Winehouse, so I feel like that's been getting a lot of buzz lately, so I just had to pick it right off the bat. So my pick is Amy, and the winner is Amy. And I'm really happy about this. I hope that it was a good documentary. If you guys have seen it, you should let me know if I should check it out. I'm not a huge fan of Amy Winehouse, like I said, but I do feel like she, had a really interesting life, and maybe there was more to her than meets the eye. Clearly, that's why they made a documentary about her, and hopefully it, says everything good about her and what she left behind. The next category is for Best Directing, and the nominees are Adam McKay for The Big Short, George Miller for Mad Max Fury Road, Alejandro G. Iñárritu for The Revenant, Lenny Abrahamson for Room, and Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. And my pick for this obviously had to go to Alejandro G. Iñárritu. He won last year for Birdman, so I pick him once again. I think he's just a fantastic director, and I think he did a really good job in The Revenant, so my pick is Alejandro G. Iñárritu, and, you know, not to discredit anybody else who was nominated, because I also think they did a pretty good job, though I just love what Alejandro G. Iñárritu did for this movie. So the winner is Alejandro G. Iñárritu. I couldn't be happier, and that's another win for The Revenant. So there you go. The next category is for Best Costume Design, and the nominees are Carol, Cinderella, The Danish Girl, Mad Max Fury Road, and The Revenant. And I felt like I would think, well, maybe a movie, I originally thought that maybe The Danish Girl would get it. I was sort of switching in between what I was thinking about, and I had all these different choices, but ultimately I picked Mad Max Fury Road because not only did it have great hair and makeup, but the costumes themselves, I feel like really, you know, resonated with all of the tones and the themes. And once again, great cosplaying there, of course, for anybody if they wanted to do that and dress up like Cinderella or something. I mean, you can do that at Disney World. So the winner is Mad Max Fury Road, once again taking home yet another Oscar. And I thought, you know, it's a no-brainer. This movie did a really good job with that, and I'm just like, I'm really shocked that this movie keeps on getting awards. Not that I was expecting it not to get any awards at all. I just feel like it's one of those movies that I didn't even think was going to be recognized by the Academy, but it did, so I'm really happy about that. 2 thumbs up. The next category is for Best Cinematography, and the films that were nominated were Carol, The Hateful Eight, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, and Sicario. My pick for this category had to go to The Revenant. I mean, I was just completely blown away by this movie and just the overall scale and scope of this movie, and just these wide pan shots, and these going really in close to the actors and really feeling as though you were there and immersed into this world. Though I'm sure you could say the same for Mad Max Fury Road, but I have always ultimately said that The Revenant had the best cinematography, and I think one of the best cinematographic films of this year. So the winner is The Revenant, and I'm really happy about that. So it's not surprising that it won, and I feel like a lot of people would agree with me that this is just one of the most beautifully shot films of all time. For the next category, it is for Best Animated Feature Film, and the nominees are Anomalisa, Boy in the World, Inside Out, Shaun the Sheep Movie, and When Marnie Was There. Now, I had only seen 3 out of the 5 nominees here, and my pick, obviously being a huge Disney Pixar fan, has to go to Inside Out. So I would have to go with Inside Out, and the winner is Inside Out. And this is not surprising, it's been taking home other awards, so, you know, yet again, Disney can do no wrong with making another great animated film that I gave a perfect 5 out of 5 to. The next category is for Best Supporting Actress, and the nominees are Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara for Carol, Rachel McAdams for Spotlight, Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl, and Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. Now, I originally had heard a lot of things about Kate Winslet possibly taking home this award. She did win the Golden Globe, though I felt like, now that I think about it, I also liked Alicia Vikander's role in The Danish Girl. I feel like she put out a more powerful and emotional performance with her character, and I feel like she definitely was the better of my two choices. So I ultimately decided that Alicia Vikander's role was more memorable, and I picked her. So the winner is Alicia Vikander! Woo! And I am really happy that she won. She's had a really great year with not only The Danish Girl, but Ex Machina as well. I know a lot of people wish that they saw her get nominated for that movie, but I think this movie was a really good performance for her, and I just really loved her role in The Danish Girl, so I'm really happy that she won an Oscar for this film. On to the Best Supporting Actor nominees, and they are Christian Bale for The Big Short, Tom Hardy for The Revenant, Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight, Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies, and Sylvester Stallone for Creed. Now, my pick for this category has to be to Sylvester Stallone for Creed, and I feel like he did a really good job in this movie. And I know there's been a lot of buzz lately, and considering that he was originally nominated for Rocky back in the day, and he didn't end up winning, so hopefully, the Oscars can have a comeback winning streak. So who knows if this was going to win or not, but I know a lot of people were really hoping that he would, knock them out with his performance. So my pick is Sylvester Stallone for Creed. And the winner is Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. And I know I saw a lot of people were thinking, like, who is this guy? Or they were slightly disappointed in his acting, though if I remember correctly, I didn't actually get a chance. I was going to go back and verify this, that if I was saying in my Bridge of Spies review that I could definitely see Mark Rylance at least getting a nomination and possibly a win, but I don't know, I don't remember if I was completely on board with him winning, and I feel like I mostly went on to thinking, it could be Sylvester Stallone. He just seems like, this could be interesting. Like, he could have a comeback year. But I also feel like this is, one of those years where somebody new, somebody getting their first time nomination and Oscar. So I'm really happy either way. I feel like he did put out a really good performance opposite Tom Hanks in Bridge of Spies. I really liked his character as Abel in that movie. The next category is for Best Actress in a Leading Role, and the nominees are Cate Blanchett in Carol, Brie Larson for Room, Jennifer Lawrence in Joy, Charlotte Rampling for 45 Years, and Saoirse Ronan for Brooklyn. Now, my choice has to go to Brie Larson for Room, not only because I thought her performance was really memorable out of all of the nominees, even though some of them I actually did also enjoy, but I also feel like since she's been constantly winning all of these other awards, of course I feel like it's got to be her year, and being a slightly new up-and-coming actress in all of these other movies, I feel like she did a really good job. So my pick is for Brie Larson. And the winner is Brie Larson for Room. And I am really happy that she won. And I think, it's really cool that she's also a first-time nominee and winner. And, I really hope to see more of her in film in the future. And I think she just did a really good job in this movie, so you should definitely check it out. I highly recommend seeing this movie. The next category is for Best Actor in a Leading Role, and the nominees are Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, Matt Damon for The Martian, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl. Now, my pick, I feel like, and everybody is going to agree with me, it is Leonardo DiCaprio's year. I know that he's been nominated previously for many Oscars in the past, but he has not won them, and I think even those were well deserved, like Blood Diamond and even The Wolf of Wall Street. I feel like this is his year. He doesn't even have to try to redeem himself for any reason. He is constantly putting out a great performance. He's really immersing himself in these roles. So my pick is for Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant. And the winner is Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant! Ah! Oh my gosh. I cannot be happier that he won. And I literally teared up when I was listening to his acceptance speech. I just think he did a really great job in this movie, and it was very believable, and he just put so much heart and soul into this film and into his character of Hugh Glass. So I am really happy that he finally won, and now nobody can put out any more memes about the bear from The Revenant winning an Oscar, or them making a movie about how Leonardo DiCaprio just keeps getting snubbed at the Oscars and not winning. But now he's got an Oscar, and I can't be more happy about him winning. So congratulations, Leo! And now for the biggest award of the night, it is for Best Picture. And even though there are some movies that should have definitely been nominated, because there were at least 2 more slots they could have filled, like putting in Straight Outta Compton or just some other movie. I'm just saying they were all pretty good choices, and I finally got to see all of the Best Picture nominees, my last one being Brooklyn. So the nominees are The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, and Spotlight. And I was actually thinking that this movie could go to The Revenant. I just really loved this movie. But I was trying to sort of get inside the heads of the people who, the Oscar voters. What would they try to pick? And I feel like most of the time they like to pick movies that sort of have a, maybe not to get all political, but they sort of leave you with some kind of statement and the story that just everybody, could remember. Though I don't know how many people would technically remember this movie, but so my pick has to go to Spotlight, and I feel like it was just an incredible storyline that I feel like this movie definitely was one of my top choices to win the award. So the Oscar goes to Spotlight, and I am happy about that, and I'm not disappointed whatsoever. I kind of figured it was going to go to Spotlight, and though I might have wanted to see other choices either be nominated or even win, I'm not surprised that this won, and I feel like it did have a good storyline to back it up, and I I'm not disappointed by it. So, you know, I'm really happy. But I feel like I'm not, usually I see movies more than once, and I feel like this is a movie that I probably won't see as many times, even though it has a sensitive subject to it. But I feel like that was kind of the reason why it won. There you have it, guys. Those were my picks, my predictions, and the ultimate winners from the 2016 Oscars. So I am really happy that, you know, some of my picks won and others who I didn't pick won as well. So the final score of the night was I got 15 out of 24 categories right, and I probably could have gotten a few more right, but either way, that's probably due to me not being able to watch certain movies out there. But either way, I can't wait until next year. I'm probably going to do another another video like this when the awards season for next year rolls around, and you guys can let me know in the comments what you guys picked for each of the categories. Who did you want to see win? Who did you wish was nominated, who hadn't? As always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see